Seksele kancane sizophumelela. Yo yo yo. Seksele kancane. Seksele kancane sizophumelela. Yo yo yo. Seksele kancane. Seksele kancane sizophumelela.
Four masihlalisane. Khumbula le video of the Orlando Pirates, social media team after we won, that Nedbank Cup 4 times. I'm bringing it back. Sila 4. Orlando Pirates are through on the CAF Champions League 2025-2026 preliminary round, first leg, beating Diodi from Lesotho by 4-0. And when you add those goals, it's 7. Emphatic win, by Orlando Pirates. I just came back in the house. I didn't even have to rewatch the match. I've got a lot, to say, 4 goals that were scored, guys. And it's not, it's not common, for Orlando Pirates to hit such a number of goals. And then we celebrated Orlando Stadium. Another brilliant atmosphere, at Orlando Stadium, even though there were not much people into that match. But this is the BigDaddy Football Corner. This is post-match tactical analysis between Orlando Pirates and Diodi. Played at Orlando Stadium, where I was there to witness it myself. Those 4 goals, and I celebrated. We've celebrated 7 times in this preliminary round. Let's go into it. Warm-up analysis of the Diodi team. I've tend to like to always watch warm-up, for the opposition, just to look at what's the game plan, prior to them going, because you warm up the way you're going to play. But for me, I could see the difference even in the warm-up, that this professionalism of these two teams is different. It was evident in the Diodi warm-up, because they literally spent 60% of their warm-up, Bekijima, no less ball work, a warm-up. There's no tactical warm-up. Even after they are done with running, you could see it's uncoordinated. It's not intense. There's no intention. Already for me, in that match, I already knew that Orlando Pirates is going to win that match just by looking at the warm-up. The other interesting thing was a back 4 drill, warm-up drill for Orlando Pirates. I think I've seen it in social media circulating. I was looking forward to it, where the assistant coach, both assistant coach, and the present in the warm-up when the back 4, is warm-upping, especially the drills whereby they pass the ball on one wing and one of them, whether it's the left back or the center back, goes in and the team squeezes, the space in between them. They also form a straight line. Again, they try to track back, and then the ball is put over or is passed over them. Again, they actually move in unison. But first, this is a drill that I noticed when I think it was posted by Man City in terms of that drill. So it was interesting to see. Lineup, 6 changes made. I expected those changes. Actually, I even expected more than what the coach brought into this match, because when I was looking at the number of minutes, I think there were about a couple of players that I felt that should have been given minutes, because at Orlando Pirates, I think there are 4 players who are close to 1,000 minutes. Is Mbogazi, Shaheen, and Nduli, and Hoto. So I was surprised when I saw Shaheen and Nduli, into that. The other interesting thing was seeing Usbis and Siema playing together. Interesting to see the captain back. He was solid as usual, but he was more on the left-hand side and not on the right. And normally, because he's more right-footed, I think Usiema can play with both feet equally so, but he was more stationed on the right-hand side. It was interesting. The other thing was Undaba, being part of the rest defense. Especially when the ball is played on the right-hand side, on Sibelebele's side, he was staying in line with the other 2 center-backs and forming the 3-1 rest defense with Unduli. That was interesting. And what I also love about these two players in the left and right today, what I enjoyed watching Usbelebele no Ndaba, was that both fullbacks, when they go forward, they offer you something different. Usbelebele will always be trickery, he will come in closer in the half space, play those 1-2s and wanting to play the ball over, the defensive line. And at times he will put in those crosses. But Undaba specializes on going, at behind the defensive line and cutbacks and nice crosses, creeps crosses inside the box. So for me, that was interesting to see. I've been waiting for 90 minutes to watch Unkos Konandaba, for me to have to watch him closely and have an informed opinion about himself. And today I was glad that I was able to watch him, and I watched him live. I think his overall game is balanced. I think technically you can't fault him with anything. What I love about him is when he receives the ball, no matter how the ball, is being played, regardless of how it's being played, whether he's always able to control the ball in the air, on the ground, he's able to play a same time pass, he's able to receive behind the defense. His final delivery as well is interesting because it's got intent, it's got purpose, it's got target where it needs to be. So for me, it was very, very interesting. In the first half, again, I saw Lioli doing what they were doing in the first leg, where the midfield is congested with bodies, ensuring that Orlando Pirates didn't progress using the central areas. Or again, Orlando Pirates started slowly, and they took long to get into the game. And I think at around 38th minute, that's where we started seeing Orlando Pirates in the first half. Another thing as well is, I've read words, guys, to describe Osipho Mbule, and his game, and how tactically, when he played the number 10 role, it assists Orlando Pirates tactically. Beside him being cripsy, on the ball and staying at the tip of the triangle. What I love about that as well is the fact that when the ball is crossed, when Daba crosses on the other side, or whoever, the winger is crossing on the other side, or the right back is crossing, he's always right at the tip of the 18 area to crash the box and score. I think it's a matter of time before he scores the goals. And if I compare him with Utito will always, on the crosses ball, is not even closer, to the box. I also love how he make football look so easy, by doing one of the most incredible, thing that most talented players, they don't do, playing it simple. He doesn't hold the ball for too long. When he gets into the ball, he plays those same time pass, those bounce passes. He's not afraid to in high pressure zone, in high density zone, bounce passes. Those half turns in dangerous zones. 1 minute is facing, the pose of Orlando Pirates. The next thing is facing the opponent and ready for a progressive pass. He's got this clean execution of passes. They are neat, they are quick, they are firm, they are accurate. They are being struck with clean, good technique, and it reaches the intended teammate directly, without hesitation. So for me, he's crisp, guys. He's clean. And towards the last 15 minutes of the first half, I felt that that's when Orlando Pirates started getting to the match. And it's not a surprise for me that they actually end up scoring the goal. I think Orlando Pirates started poking using combination play, using those quick 1-2s with Apolis, now moved on the left-hand side. I told you guys about how he's a master in terms of playing those half spaces, how he navigates with speed, with precision in those areas, those 1-2s, and then receives, behind the defense. For me, he's one of the best players, in navigating those half spaces with speed, and then Orlando Pirates got that lateral free kick. I was typing, by the time when that free kick was, when they gave Orlando Pirates, and I was saying Orlando Pirates needs to quickly find another person, alternative beside Horton or Dlamini, who's gonna score these free kicks, because we keep on getting them, but we are not scoring them. And guess what? Boom! Moremi scores. That particular goal, a cool hook to the far post. The goalkeeper anticipated that he's going to try and play over the ball. It was stupid for the goalkeeper, because his line is standing here. He also goes and guard the side where the line is, and then Moremi nicely put it in the far corner, and Orlando Pirates is cruising, to the next stage, because already that score there was going to be 4-0. During half time, I noticed Nemtangela and Mbuthuma warming up. I thought Makgopa and Denson, because he also had a yellow card. I also don't think he had one of his best games. But instead, Nduli was subbed, and I was like, okay, that's different, because with coach our previous coach, normally when you get a yellow card, he always wants to substitute you. Second half, we started exactly how we ended the first half, interchanging of passes, circulating the ball, waiting for openings. There are a lot of good things that I noticed before the second goal. Number one, it was Denson, because Denson one pass, long pass into the other side, where Moremi received the ball. But I want you to please look at the run that was made by Unem Tangela when he dragged the Diodi player. He cleared that zone for Moremi behind him to get into the zone, and he took a shot, and it's a goal once again. For me, again, it indicates how Coach Wadu is tactically flexible, which is something that I felt that the previous coach wasn't interested to do, because he always wanted to play a left-footed player on the right and a right-footed player on the left, so that they cut into the half space, and never at any point given time he was swapping them, so that you can at least get when you get a right-footed player, on the right-hand side, you're gonna get crosses, cutbacks inside the box. So for me, it was interesting that the coach is flexible enough to think about those attacking dynamics are different when you are using a player on the right-hand side with strongest foot. The China substitute, I was like, is China injured? Because he just went down after the goal was scored. But I also went on Twitter. I saw people talking about it. Also, it was intention for Upteleze to come in, and it was great from him, to give him the other goalkeeper, and Angabi no more, especially because the Orlando Pirates already there, were already, cruising on that game. Lebitso came in, Sibelebele moved again into the left wing. Again, the another importance of a utility player, a player that at any point given in time, you don't have to make a substitution. You can change him into a different position. I think it's going to be a very, very crucial player for Orlando Pirates, Usibelebele, his ability to play a couple of positions. The Mbuthuma goal, we were patiently playing in our own half. You were throwing it Yodi, to us, because if you look where, when the pass was played, where that line, yet Yodi is not normal. It was high because we were throwing them to us because they wanted the ball. And one pass over the defensive line, cross from Lebitso, Mbuthuma, at the end of the cross, it's a goal. When I was just typing, I'm busy typing Mbuthuma second goal. I didn't even see what was happening. I was taking notes. I then came back and relied on highlights, but I had people talking about the high press and how Orlando Pirates scored from it. And again, I went and watched the highlights. It validates what I was saying, during preseason, that Orlando Pirates pressing, is very. I very much like it, because it's young Kaza, because it's coordinated. When the front line presses, the players at the back, they're also following into the press, and that's how we won and scored that fourth goal. Orlando Pirates cruise into the next stage of the CAF Champions League preliminary round. But if there's anything that I've missed, please let me know. Like, share, and comment on this YouTube channel. Danko mabagania danko.